Elvis, and this is Mediaverse. Now, today's episode, we are summarizing, and we're going to be sharing our thoughts
on Stuck Together.
Yeah, Stuck Together.
Yes.
Now, Xantrik, you go first.
Well, I really like this episode. It's really simplistic and it doesn't offer a lot, but I like this episode. Mainly because it went back and it focused on, like, something that was surprising. I wasn't expecting this in this episode. It focused on Lars. A lot on Lars.
We kind of learn a little bit about Lars.
I don't know that we learn about Lars, but Lars learns about Lars. I think that's important.
No. Like, the reason when he said, like, when he was we were having a heart-to-heart moment when Steven was trying to get Lars to help rescue themselves from Topaz. Like, he's saying he's afraid. He's always afraid. And
I could tell that about Lars. I already knew that about Lars. I learned that Lars was now learning this about Lars.
Yeah. I mean, like, probably it's because that he's always trying to impress people. But when it comes down to doing something noble, he would not try to do anything noble. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. We learned a little bit about other gems.
Like Topaz.
Yes. That was interesting.
Like Topaz, like, for once, she actually broke down crying from the heart-to-heart moments that Lars and Steven was having, such as, like, when she said that Topaz is never fully together. That they always have someone in between us.
It makes you notice kind of that non-military minded gems can be very similar to...
I mean, every military gem has a heart. Like, even though she's even though, like, her face, she doesn't look like she's the kind of person that really give,
Oh my word, I feel like they totally reversed the faces during... You know what? I bet you...
Wait, hold on, let me finish my thought.
Okay.
Like, Topaz doesn't feel like she really looks like she doesn't really, a second thought about what happens to the people she captures. But even the hardness of her shell that she tries to impose, she does have feelings about, like, what it feels like when two people have such good careness about each other, such as Steven and Lars even look in the face of certain doom, they still try to make it a positive note.
I was really surprised they threw that in there.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that looking at the roles that the two gems that we have, well, 3 gems that we have in this episode are, the roles that they play, I feel like initially they kind of wanted the one that breaks down and to be sad, the one with the teardrop in her eye.
Yeah.
I was surprised that it's Topaz, right? Yeah, Topaz was the one that did that, and Topaz was like, "I'm Stoneface. I don't change feeling at all." And then suddenly she's crying, and I know that was on purpose. I don't know if it switched the roles at any point when doing ideas or planning. I don't know if they did that, but I do know that it was definitely on purpose. They wanted people to realize.
And you know what I liked? I liked how Topaz tried to do the right thing and try to help Lars and Steven escape, but then they were eventually caught by Aquamarine. And, like, she did not, like, she caught on what they were doing.
That face she gave was hilarious.
I know, like, we got.
She's like, I don't have these feelings. What are you talking about?
What is this? What are you doing? I was like that disgusted face.
I was a bit surprised. She was in quite the predicament at one point, being held against the wall, and she reasoned her way out of it, and then she let Topaz go. You
can actually call that a mutiny, technically.
I would say so.
You can call, like, Aquamarine the captain and Topaz to be the crew member, and you can actually call that a mutiny. But like she did like let it go when they arrived. She said, "Listen, just unfuse and we'll forget about this ever happening." Like she would not. I can see like she's still friends with Topaz, so
she may have just not wanted blemish on any of her markings, on
yeah,
any of her reports. I feel like that's important to her. Being that she's Stephen may have hit the nail on the head with his hypothesis, but she feels probably a little bit inferior with her size and all that. She may just want to look really well marked on her reports.
I guess you can say that. Like, I guess she doesn't want to have any type of mutiny that ever happened on her ship.
I mean, being in control is important, but never losing control is probably
if you ever have on your report that you actually lost control with your crew member, then that puts a blame on really yourself on how you lead.
Yeah, a little, yeah.
Yeah.
It's worse than no blame at all on anyone.
But so I mean that's kind of but at least Aquamarine said that she would forget this ever happened. I mean, like even then, I think she cared. She felt a little sorry for Topaz because she kind of blamed it on the fusion because they get too sentimental. Now, what do you think about that? Like, if you are the same fusion and if you're fused too long and you become sentimental, she says, what does for all the viewers that probably don't know what sentimental is?
Sentimental is when you like look back on an experience that you have or just something that's happened, and you take that as more important in today's world, even though the event is in the past. So, say for example, I have something that my family has passed down through generations. It means nothing at this point. It's some sort of egg beater from the 1800s that is broken down and just takes up space. It's just a piece of junk. But if it means a lot, if it means a lot to my family, I show sentiment towards it. I won't throw it away because it means something from my past. So, in this episode, we saw a lot of Stephen, and we didn't really talk about it, but
we saw a lot of Stephen. We saw a lot of Lars.
Yeah, Lars and Stephen didn't talk too much about that, but I really feel like that was the focus of this episode. Lars and Stephen.
And having a moment.
Yeah, Lars really just discovers more about himself. Lars is very lost. We've mentioned this before, but Lars is very lost. And he's discovering more about himself in this episode. He feels bad, Stephen comforts him, and they have a moment where they're just finally realizing that they can be better just because they're together.
Alright. Well, I'm Xantric.
You're Xantric, and I'm not Xantric, apparently.
I'm Elvis, this is Xantric, and this is the Mediaverse. We hope we see you again soon. Remember, subscribe, and hope you'll see our next content coming up soon. Alright, make sure you smash that like button until it breaks. Have a good day.
See ya.